This is how we left the chassis at the end of the last video. In this one, we're going to start by creating the buffers. So I'm just going to create a new file for the buffers now. And funnily enough, I think we'll call it buffers.txt. Cool. So I'm going to start by making the base of one of the buffers using half a pill. It's quite large at the moment, but I'll flip it over, center it, and then I'll change its size. Right, I'll just center that and floor it again. So now I'm going to make the main part of the buffer using a vase loft. This is basically creates a shape by rotating a profile. I'm going to split the top segment of the profile here, to add another button into it and just level it out. And I'll just drag the bottom right-hand corner here down to another grid point. So you get a shape like, well, hopefully like the buffer body, or like Tommy Cooper's hat, I suppose. It's like a fez, isn't it, really? I won't worry about sizing that yet. I'll do that externally. Yep, as you can see, it's rather big in relation to the base, so now I'm going to shrink it down a bit. Oops, beg your pardon. Ah, don't worry, I'll sort that out. Just a matter of getting the right numbers in the boxes here. And I think I'll stack that on top so we can see what it looks like on top of the base. Select the base and the body, stack above. Cool, segment a bit. Change its color to something more useful, I think, so we can separate them out. Oh, actually, the base isn't on the floor. I'll move that now. And move that up a little touch as well. Stack above. Cool. So now I'm going to add the shaft that supports the front of the buffer. Just going to do that with a cylinder. I'll just use a cylinder primitive and make it an appropriate size. Just resize it directly here. And it's going to look a bit funny while I do that. And stack that above the body. Actually, I think it looks a wee bit thin to me. I think that's likely to break. quite easily, so I'm just going to increase the size again a little bit. Let's see, yeah, it's maybe a little bit thick, but it's you don't want this to be so thin that it actually just snaps as soon as it comes into contact with anything. I think that's probably about right. Cool. I think I'm going to put some cross braces into the body just to make it look a wee bit more interesting. I know some buffers have this sort of cross brace and some don't, but yeah, I'll add them to this one, I think. So I'll make one out of a trapezoid here. I'm really not sure what these numbers should be. Ooh, that's not right. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, now I've set that on top of the base. You can see the effect that we're trying to achieve. I'll just once again use our old friend stack above, possibly the most used command we've got. It's looking a bit chunky to me. I think I could do with it being dropped down a little bit. Yeah, oh, I don't know. What do you think? Maybe if we just drop it down into the base just a little touch. Yeah, that looks okay. Well, let's make another one of those then. Oop, and cloned them. I've moved them out so we can just see the orientation a bit better. Just going to rotate that through 90 degrees and put them back into the center again. Yeah, that looks fine, I think. So really all we need now is another pill for the top, I think. Another half pill, really. Actually, I'll clone the base and just resize that. Yeah, there we go. Just going to stretch them out a little bit horizontally. That should do it. And I'm cheating here. These values have actually just taken off another one, an existing one. I've measured them and pinched those numbers. So now we stack above again. And there we go. I think that's near enough a buffer. I'm going to union all of those to make it into a single object. That actually didn't take very long. Sometimes unions can be long, but this one was quite quick, really. Cool. Maybe we'll set its name properly and change its color. Actually, the name's okay. We'll just change its color. And we need 4 of those, so I'm just going to clone the original one. He's looking a bit funny because he's come into the camera. Back off the camera a little bit. It should look fine. Yeah, there we go. So they've got correct names, or sensible names. Fine, they all look okay to me. So let's reopen the assembly. And now I'm going to reference the buffers so that we get a read-only copy of them in the assembly. There they are. They should appear. There we go. That's good. So I'm going to select a couple of these, any two, doesn't matter which, and I'm going to move those to the left-hand side of the chassis bed. Just using the cursor keys here to step them along. That's fine. And I'll repeat that with the other two. I'll move those to the right-hand side. Again, just using the cursor keys. Right, so now I'm going to go to the left-hand side. I'm going to select one of these buffers. I'll use the shortcut key to just rotate it forward and then rotate it around again to the correct alignment. Rotate it onto the floor. Come on, rotate and then rotate around again. Right, cool. Now I'm going to select the end plate and one of the buffers and stack it to the left of it, which, as you can see, places it right in the middle. Slight overlap. Now I'm going to align their backs. Select the end plate again, select the buffer and align them at the back. Align their backs rather. I'm going to repeat that with the other buffer. Select the end plate, select the buffer, stack. And while it's still selected, align their fronts. Now they're not quite in the right position. This should be in a little bit, so I'm just going to nudge it in with cursor keys. You can sort out the exact positions later on. Right, let's repeat that with the buffers at the other end. Grab one, shortcut key to rotate it down, shortcut key to rotate it around the other way, and repeat with the next one. Lovely job. Rotate, rotate. And now I'm going to stack one in front of the second end plate. And align it to the front. Actually, I won't align it to the front. I'll make it line up with the buffer that's on the opposite end. I'll do that again. That saves a bit of time, doesn't it? If I actually stack this one in front of the end plate too. And now I select the buffer at the far end. And this buffer and align those with each other. They should be in the right place. Cool. That's fine. So now we have chassis assembly now with buffers. Let's just save that quickly. So let's go back to Inkscape and the original drawing. Now I've connected all of the bits of the side frame into a single object, which I'm now going to select and just copy. And I'm going to paste that into a drawing program, a painting program this time rather. I'm going to use paint.net. So I'm going to paste it into a new image. Let me zoom in so you can see that a little bit better. And I'm going to resize that in order to avoid pixelation later. So I think I'll make it about 5 times bigger than it currently is. And some of those black pixels seem to be touching the edges, so I need a little bit of space around them. So I'm just going to resize the canvas. In other words, stretch out the image without changing what's already been drawn. That's better. Now, it needs to be a black and white image, so I'm going to fill in the background, the transparent background with white, so you can see what we've got there. Okay, some of the lines look a little bit rough in places, so I'm going to draw over the top of them again, just to smooth them out a little bit, like this vertical one. Looks like it's got a bit of a dog leg in it, but I'll just draw over the top to clear that. That's fine. Yeah, the top needs to be flat there, I think. We do the bottom, that's fine. Oops, that's a mistake. Let me put that back. So the diagonal bars that you see here, in order to fit, they need to have their tops flattened off a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just um, draw in white over the top of them. I'll start by putting a black line down so that I can actually see where it's going. And then I'll thicken it up a little bit and switch it to white. We've got a few little blobs left, so I think I'll just paint over the top of those in white to get rid of them. But you can see what I've done here. Basically, I've leveled all of the tops of all of those bars. Now the bricks pads themselves, I think the ends need to be rounded a little bit, so I'm just going to place a round blob at the end of each of these in black. I think that's. Oh, actually, no. Let's move off the top edge of the long diagonal bar just to avoid pixelation when we actually turn it into a 3D object. I just draw on all the straight lines on there. That because this image is now a slightly higher resolution than the original, it should smooth out some of those sort of sawtooth pixels for us. I'll do the bottom end of it as well. That's fine. And I'm here. Awesome. So let's save that. I'm actually going to save it underneath the Barnacle project itself, or underneath the Wagon project in the images folder. For no other reason than it's just a convenient place to put it to keep everything together. That's fine, and I think that is us pretty much done with Paint.net and Inkscape. Let's go back to Barnacle again. There we are, and this is the chassis assembly as we left it before. So now I'm just going to create a new file where I can add these sidebars. First thing I'm going to do is just type in an appropriate name. Okay, create the file. Lovely. Now then, let's use the weird tool, the image plaque, to convert that bitmap we've created into a solid. I'm going to set the dimensions here before I actually select the image, simply because it's quicker to do it this way around. Now browse for that image that we previously saved. I'll pop it in there. And you can see the twirly wheel showing us that it's going to take a little bit of time to generate, but it isn't a huge amount of time. Just bear with me. There we are. It's done and cool. So we have created the object out of that image. So I'll just center it and floor it here. I think what we'll do is we'll give it an appropriate name. And we'll set its color, as we often do. And in fact, we need two of these, one for each side. So I'm just going to select them and clone him. Control K for clone. And I'll move the clone right to the back using cursor keys. That's fine. There we are. Two side frames. That wasn't too painful, was it? Yet another save. The side frames actually require a couple of little bars which run underneath the wheel mounts. And these are very, very simple flat bars. So I'm simply going to make one here out of a cube primitive. So if we go to the edit tab and then add the cube. There's nothing fancy about this, so I'm literally going to select them and just type in the numbers for the dimensions of the bar. 0.5. That's fine. So now I'm just going to drop him onto the bed, floor him, and I think I'll change his name now. Perfect. So let's make a second one of those just by cloning him. Yep. Select it and hit Control K for clone. And I think I'm going to stack him behind the rear frame. Perfect. And I'll nudge him out a little bit to give a bit of a gap. So again, this is laid out perfectly for printing on the FDM printer. Change the name of the second one to something more meaningful. And guess what? In the next video, we'll have a go at making the all-important wheel mounts. If you'd like to be notified whenever that video is available, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.